Hi, this is Daniel Rowe with TradeThePlan.com. In this video, I'm going to show you uninstalling your old master suite, if you have one installed, installing the new one, and then starting up for the first time, which will be to essentially just cover the logic manager and getting licensed. And then in the next video, we'll go over the workspaces, the charts, the Bloodhound templates. Okay, so first I will uninstall the old one. Control panel, programs and features. I'm sure you guys know how to do this, but it's pretty simple. This is doing a backup of all of your templates and workspaces and the TTP folder. Let me show you what it's doing real quick. So when you uninstall, just in case there are some old templates and workspaces that you've been working on, and rather than renaming them, you've just saved them as the name of the workspace or template that I've included in those old installers. Everything that the installer installs, all of the DLLs for the TTP master suite, and then the essentials would be all of the chart templates, Bloodhound templates, Blackbird templates, workspaces, indicator templates, toolbar backups, toolbar images, any file other than the actual DLLs. And we separated these because the old update system was simply to create a new installer, and rather than having to continually update, uninstall your old workspaces, reinstall all the new software, all the updated software with the same workspaces, overriding your existing ones, was just kind of a pain for everybody. So we separated out the DLLs into one installer so you could update those, and then all the workspaces and template files into this Essentials installer. Okay, so that's the purpose of having two installers, but now we have an automatic updating system for the DLLs, and then I think soon we'll have finished the update system for the actual Essentials files too. And then once we've hit that milestone, you'll only have to install the update system with one installer and then use the updater to pick and choose the files that you want to update, or just update everything all at once. All right, so what that command prompt was doing was backing up all of your templates here, putting a date on them, telling you which installer created that backup, indicator, chart, Bloodhound, Blackbird, and then the TTP folder would be simply your XML for the import manager for the toolbar, and then the XML for your toolbar. The reader manager XML is not really important because they're recreated every time you open up, because if it's not there, it will simply create a new one. This XML just saves the columns that you have showing, which you can turn on and off. So that's pretty basic, but the toolbar core would be your layout for the toolbar. So some people would be upset about losing their customized toolbar, and so we do a backup of them. But I don't include the toolbar core in the Essentials installer anymore, because that would be to overwrite any existing toolbar core that you may have. So this is kind of overkill, but it does serve a purpose to give people a way of accessing those files that may have been uninstalled during the uninstall process. Okay, and no backup is created for the DLLs installer because it's just DLLs. You don't need a backup for those. All right, so now I'll run the new one. It's the same version number, but there were some fixes for the Blackbird templates in this one. In the Essentials installer, this one here. So today is June 8th. If you happened to access the new website before I sent out an email and you downloaded 8.3.1, you may have some Blackbird templates that had just a couple of wrong settings. So I fixed that in the latest one, and I have not yet sent out the email. So again, if you've already installed it, you're going to want to install the new one. the latest one that's on the website as of today, June 8th. Okay, so when I open up for the very first time, and preferably you're going to be doing this with the Ninja Manager, but I'm going to show you doing it without it. So when you open up for the first time, it asks you, do you know that these are from a trusted source? Well, yes, they are, because we have a code signing certificate license from Microsoft as well. So ensuring that they're, not corrupt, not full of whatever malicious code. They are certified. And then you'll use your email. All of this, of course, is on the website, but whoops. Yeah, let everything open up before you start doing this. Sometimes when Ninja has many charts that it's opening at the same time, it takes control of your mouse for some reason. I'm not sure why. Seems like the more charts that you have open, the more likely it is to do that. Send email, copy the code from the email, enter the confirmation code there. And there we go. Oh, I missed the time frame tuner. Well, that's okay. So when you first open up, you'll notice the toolbar is empty. That's on purpose, unless you already have a toolbar core that you're using. And again, if you're missing yours after uninstalling, just go into the TTP folder, NinjaTrader 8, TTP, installation backups, TTP folder, and then it would be the Essentials, and that is your toolbar file right there. So you would close Ninja down, copy this back, go back to the TTP folder, and paste it right here. So that's the new toolbar core, which is empty, no buttons, no nothing. And what I want to do is I want to restore one of the backups that I provided, one of these 6 backups here. And you can go through those and see whichever look that you like. They're all set up identically. They all have the same hotkeys, the same buttons. My preferred set of buttons, so you can modify it and do whatever you want. And there it is. And each one of these, well, the majority of them, no, in fact, all of them are grouped panels. So each one acts as an individual toolbar, basically. Okay, so now that you've loaded that toolbar back up, you'll want to accept this. Just read it real quick. This is the first iteration of the Logic Manager lightweight tool designed to run advanced condition sets with minimal overhead. This version includes all of the conditions which make up the OTF operative time frame Bloodhound templates, which used to be on the minute charts. So rather than having a Bloodhound template on every single minute chart, we now have this Logic Manager, and they attempt to find ABC type retracements within a trend on each of the minute charts individually. And our goal for this first version has been to improve the end user's experience and improve performance by limiting the number of required Bloodhound templates. So if you would like to use the Logic Manager, please click the yes button, blah, blah, blah. Yes. So now, which workspace did I open but the Master Suite ES workspace? Yep. Let me go ahead and connect to data. So the way that it works, the Logic Manager, is that you have to activate the logic for each instrument. And this is because it builds a grid, a dynamic data grid, that will only show you which instruments' signals that you want to see, and you determine what that is via this logic activator window. So I have the ES open, I'll select the ES, and if you have an old workspace that you've set up and you've renamed it to something other than the name provided, you can click on Change, and it will show you which workspaces are the closest match. You could assign it to a different workspace, but only within reason, only if the name of that instrument is somehow in the name of the workspace file name or the names of the charts. Okay, see, like it's not letting me select any of these because it's a total mismatch. These have nothing to do with the ES, the S&P 500 Financial E-mini Futures, but obviously this one does, and I'll select it. The MES is pretty close because it has ES in the name. That's the micro E-mini, or just the micro, however you call it. So I've selected this instrument now, this workspace, and I click activate and verify, and what that does is it checks that the logic agent is attached to each of those charts. And then I click done, the logic manager will open, and then it shows me all of the charts I have activated, which correspond to these: Min 4, RTH 4, Min 3, and I'll move these, hold down the window key, arrow right, arrow down, hold down the window key, arrow right, hold down the window key, arrow left, left, down, down, and we have 2 more. So I have the row 1 and the row 2 in the background. Now you can hide the toolbar just by, well, you can double click on it as well, which will hide it. And then to bring it back, you just hover your cursor over the NinjaTrader icon, find it, click on it, that brings it back. If somehow it's off screen, you can open up any of the charts, the indicators for any of the charts, select the toolbar, reset panel positions right there, and it will bring them all to the top left corner, and then it will show all of the grouped panels as well. And to close those, you just simply click the buttons one by one. And there we go. So you'll notice the logic agent is the indicator at the bottom of the chart. This acts as, for you guys that have been with us for a while, you know the reader system, which allows us to access the signals from all of the indicators from all of the charts within Bloodhound or on any other chart, rather than having to load each of those indicators from a higher time frame into a Bloodhound template, which could never possibly run. It would crash Ninja. So this is kind of the reverse of that reader system. Reverse in that rather than one reader per chart, per indicator, per data series, we have one logic agent per chart, which kind of exports or opens up the ability to access all of the data points from that chart that it's on. All of the bar data, all of the data series from every single indicator. So anyway, you can see the name for the logic ID for the output matches the name of the old Bloodhound templates, the file name for the old Bloodhound templates. So that name identifies, number one, the instrument name, and then the chart name, and then the logic set. Now currently in the logic manager we have but one logic set, which is the OTF templates, the operative time frame condition sets, which identify pullbacks within the trend. And this is a good example of that. We had a really nice setup yesterday on the Min 6, and that is identifying this ABC style correction within a trend. Okay, and I'm allowing with this kind of loose trend conditions, I don't know that loose is the right word, but I'm identifying between 25 and 110 bars retracements that make up the entire pattern. So for example, this is a 27 bar retracement, and starting at the 24th bar, I guess, because the ruler either adds one or removes one. Yeah, it adds one. So that is actually the 25th bar. What it's showing is the 24th. Anyway, so that is your 25th bar right there, at which point it can begin to find this ABC style correction. And up to 110 bars. Yeah, this is about the smallest pattern you would find right there. This is on the verge of not being allowed because it's so far away from the starting point from here. So once it gets up to the top, let's see, another, I think just another 13.49, another average range up, and this would be canceled because it's too deep of a retracement for it to still be considered an A, B, C. At the moment, it can because, yeah, it's not outside of the realm of possibility. It's only just shy of a 200% extension of what would be the A wave, so that would be the potential A wave there, B, C, and C is less than 200% of wave A. So yeah, that's still allowed to be a potential corrective high. It just looks like it's completely reversed in my estimation. Although we did break out of the top of this channel, at which point, because it's so steep to the upside, I would not be looking for a short here, but I can't program currently. I mean, I will be able to once I get to the point at which I want to arrive, be able to add in trend channels and whatnot to the operative time frame, ABC corrections, but that's not yet possible. I would not allow this as a short because of that fact, because it broke out of the top of the channel. So once we got beyond up in this area, in real time, I would not be looking for that to be a short that I would take. But this one, on the other hand, this is a perfect setup. It comes straight down to the bottom of the channel, to the tick almost. I think it's barely shy of it. And we go right back to the opposite side of the channel, the baseline. So that would be my entry there, which unfortunately I wasn't watching as I was making the website live, the new website. And then that would be my first target, and I would still be holding one long for a break of this high. I'd be looking to get way up, which it may or may not do, but I'd already be locked in profit by now, taking one off here. And my stop would be pretty shallow at this point. In fact, it would be about break even, just beyond the entry. I mean, there's no reason for it to have more than about an 80% retracement and still be going up. So yeah, my stop would be down right in here, waiting for this to break through the top of the channel, at which point it should take off to the upside pretty quickly. All right, so that's what the logic agent, logic manager, that's what they're showing. These potential ABC style corrections, which is the second part of our trading methodology. The first part is the area, right? The market geometry. Whether you call the market geometry step one or, the quote-unquote Elliott wave, it's really kind of a simplified version of Elliott wave, where we're just simply looking for these pullbacks, retracements, corrections, whatever you want to call them, within a trend. So we're identifying the areas in the market geometry that we want to trade from and to, and then we are waiting for these retracements. So that's 1 and 2, areas, market geometry, direction and correction, Elliott wave, and then number 3, the confirmation of those areas and correction in the volume and the momentum divergence. So that's how we piece it all together. And on the minute charts, we have the potential corrections. So right now we have a potential swing low in the Min 3 chart, which will show up now on the logic manager right there. And if this chart were down and to the right like it just was, and it were behind this chart, and I want to show it, or maybe it's minimized or whatever, I'm going to put this always on top. Then I can simply turn on the window action, which it's off by default. So I'm going to set this to bring to the logic manager. Maybe you have multiple monitors, as you should. 3 is fine. 2 I find is not enough. More than 3 I think is too much. Unless you have a 4th one that just has, like your chat, browser, whatever. But 3 for trading is plenty. So you see that? I click that. It brings the top of that chart to the top of the screen. and the left edge of that chart to the right edge of the logic manager, and then sends it back. We have a very, very well built window managing system built into the logic manager and the toolbar. Okay, so if I wanted to save the layout of these charts, I can use the window manager to do that. And that, of course, will be a separate video. But that same system, slightly modified, is built into this logic manager for the governing the window actions. And you have a few different choices. You can maximize it, bring it to the center, which would be to, you'll see, like so. And then that arrow, when it's pointing left, means that it just moved it, and then click it again, sends it back to the right. Okay, now if I click it and then move it, it resets, you see? So now it will go back to that moved position, like right here. Now I click it, sends it back to where it was after I moved it. And then you can maximize it. Send it back, maximize it, and then if I move it, sends it back, maximizes it. See? Bring to front is just that. It just brings it to the front. So if it's behind, brings it to the front. Simple. And then of course none is none. I prefer this one, bring it to the logic manager. Whoops. Click it. There it is. Boom, boom, boom. Cool. All right. So now if I were to open another workspace, say the CL, I'll need to activate the logic for that workspace. And to do that, of course, I need to activate logics. So again, I click right here. Okay, that's good that this happened. What I did was I clicked activate logics and then closed it. And if you close it without clicking that activate and verify, it basically turns it off. It disables it. So I'm going to click that again, logic activator, select CL. It's already finding the right workspace. We tried to make this as automatic as possible so that you don't have too much to worry about. And then if I wanted to change it, this is the closest one, but it's not green at all. It's not even dark green. So that's obviously not a very good match. And then I activate and verify. Successful. Click done, and I need to reselect the ES. And there we go. In a subsequent video, I'll show you if you wanted to, say, delete a couple of charts. Maybe you want to get rid of the Min 6 and the Min 5, or just the Min 6. Even that RTH1, I'll show you how to do that in another video. So that's it. So now you can select either or, and it will show you what the signals are, if there are any. And then I have the window action set to bring to logic manager. So the Min 2, let's see that one. There it is, right there. So it is a possible corrective low on the Min 2 chart. Same on the Min 1, the RTH1, as it's breaking that potential A wave low. Okay, so it's a couple of hours later. I had to fix some things on the website, and you can see that crude has turned up very, very rapidly from this area. So this is the logic agent, once again, in the lower panel, marking the bars that are potential corrective swing lows when it's at a low, and then potential corrective swing highs when it's at a high. So that, together with the areas in the market geometry, provide your area for the potential entry. And then we're trading from area to area for your targets, and then depending upon which chart is the operative time frame for that trade, for that pullback trade. In this case, it would be the RTH1 and the Min 2 at this low here. So depending upon which chart is the operative time frame for the trade determines what the momentum divergence confirmation and the volume confirmation signals must be. So it's basically three major components. One, the areas in the market geometry coming together on two or more charts. Two, the corrective pattern in the market, the pullback, identifying which chart is the trade chart, what we're calling the operative time frame, OTF, right? And then, like I said, that determines which charts need to have the confirmation conditions show up and be met, and then you have enough coming together for a trade. That's for another video. We're focusing on the logic manager for this. So let me close the ES workspace and you'll see what happens. Okay, so it's showing you that it has disconnected, and there's a 60-second timer in there that gives it a bit of a leeway so that in case, I don't know, anything could happen potentially that could disconnect momentarily. Maybe 60 seconds is a bit much. I'm kind of thinking it is now that I'm recording a video because I want it to hurry up. Yep, and now I just reset them by clicking calculate. So you don't want to do that. But this is normal behavior, so what you want to do if you want to just leave crude oil active is disconnect it. And you'll see that it says one error. That's because the workspace is not open. So you cannot see those errors unless it's actually connected. And in fact, when you do connect it, it will show two errors. Number one, the workspace is not open. So therefore, number two, the logic agent cannot connect to the divergence analyst. So all of the conditions that make up these operative time frame signals are dependent upon the data series coming from the divergence analyst. So that divergence analyst has some very elaborate swing trend algorithms that give us all of the data that we need to be able to determine, or identify rather, these corrections, these pullback patterns, ABC style corrections. So if I run the setup helper, it's going to ask me to change the workspace because it's not open. Well, I don't need it to change the workspace. If I click activate and verify, it's going to fail. Let me just show you that. Waiting for charts, what's going on? No charts were found, okay. Close, and then it disconnects it. So if I try to do it again, it's not happening, not working. So what I can do now is deselect it to hide it, or let's say remove it, rather, from the logic manager. But then that's also going to try to disconnect from crude oil, which it will not let you do. At least one has to be active for this activate and verify to function, obviously. So I'm going to leave crude oil selected and then click activate and verify. It's just checking that everything is connected. Boom, done. And then it removes the ES, you see? So let's try to do it again and just see if it fails, which it will. So ES failed, but crude oil worked. So it leaves the ES out. So let's open the ES once more so I can show you what happens. Oh, we're getting down for a potential long again. Looks like 5 down to me from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or maybe 3. Yeah, so I would want to see it come down a little bit lower, which it may not even do. There it is. It's your upsloping area right there. Identical slope. It's crazy. Yeah, and it's at the 50% warning line there. We've got a bit of a loss of momentum. It's in the low volume node too. That chart flash is the volume analyst. It's a volume analyst signal. In this case, volume divergence.
Order submitted. Order filled.
Okay, so I'm going to let that go. Now, obviously, because I didn't activate the ES, I didn't leave it in the list of logics here. I need to add it back. And there we go. So you see how you do that. You just click activate logics, select the ones that you want, activate and verify. And that's it. So let's try a couple of other things. And this is really what I recommend. Just try to break it. Just use it, click on stuff, see what happens. There's really no better way to learn software. Go through all the settings, see what they do. It takes less time than reading as well. So when you open up NinjaTrader, it opens up just the one workspace, the last workspace that was shown now. So really, you're going to want to use the Ninja Manager always to open up Ninja. And then I have to connect. It's trying to connect to crude oil, but it's not open, obviously. And then when I enabled ES, you see how it automatically connected and calculated? And then so too did all the readers in the Reader Manager. So again, we've tried to make this as, I don't want to say foolproof, but, well, I guess that is the word. It's just kind of a rude word, isn't it? But yeah, we tried to make it, you know, as automatic as possible without needing a lot of input and understanding as far as how to operate it. So it should, you know, start up. All you got to do is activate the logics and then start using it. In one of the next videos, I'll go through the Bloodhound template on the row 2 chart that is accessing all of those logic agents from the minute charts. Okay, because remember, the minute charts tell us which is the active time frame, the operative time frame for the trade, and then depending upon which chart is the operative time frame determines which conditions must be met for the confirmation of the trade. So we'll go through all of that in one of the subsequent videos. Okay, I'm going to stop this one right here. At some point in the not too distant future, I'm going to remake this as succinctly as possible, but for now this will have to do. Okay.